So nothing more, nothing less. If someone in your circle is harming you more than you would be willing to harm yourself, you say, nah, that person's not it, I'll cut them off. However, if someone is in your circle is loving you more than you love yourself, it's the same thing. We also reject them because we're like, no, I don't deserve that. Am I right or am I wrong? Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I'm your girl Lolo, and in this video, we're gonna hone in on mindset. I talk about mindset a lot in a lot of my videos, but today there's a certain mindset that we call self-sabotage. If you're looking to get over your self-loathing, your self-hatred, your self-doubt, you might not use those words, but maybe you use words such as like uncertainty. You're second guessing yourself. You're not as confident enough to make decisions about your own health. You don't trust yourself anymore. This negative cycle of thinking, this cycle that you've been in and you've been trying to get over the hump and trying to get over the hump and trying to get over the hump, it ends today. And it starts with a decision that we're gonna start to do the work to bring that cycle to an end, to stop that cycle. And I'm going to dive deep into why and how, where these things come from, and how to stop this negative cycle, because it ends today. And it just starts with a choice. Are we going to choose to open our minds up to something that we are afraid of experiencing? It's as simple as that. That's the choice. Are you going to, with fear in your heart, tears running down your face, are you still going to choose to open yourself up to something that you may be deathly afraid of? If it means that opening yourself up to that fear is going to help you get past what you've been stuck on for years and years and years, are you willing to do it? And that's the only decision that you need to make from here on out to get you to where you can free your mind. And that's the main one. So let's really get into it. This idea of freeing the mind from this cycle of thinking, from this negative loop, whatever your negative loop is, it all pretty much revolves around the same thing, which is the fact that we are the largest critics of ourselves. Let's say it like this. We are all, in some shape or form, abusers of ourselves. If you identify with self-sabotage, with overthinking, of negative thinking about yourself, it is a reflection of what you've experienced from the outside world internalized inward. So let's explore this for a minute. You've heard a lot of things over your lifetime for years and years and years. You've heard certain things that went against your innate beliefs about yourself. And because you've heard maybe people tell you certain things, negative things, such as, you can't do that, you can't start that business, or you can't, raise that child by yourself. You can't do this, you can't do that. Those were just the first things that came to my mind. But overall, you've heard a lot of things that you perceived as negative about yourself and internalized those things. All of our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves come from the outside world. They come from the outside, and we have made the choice, we have made the agreement to internalize them inward and accept them as truth. So if we have accepted those things as truth, or those things as truth, and they weren't true before, then what was true before? Let's go back to what a kid is like, what a child is like. Do you know children are actually the least judgmental people? They're actually the most spiritually in tune. They have the most faith of any people everywhere. And they are also the most trusting and open of love. And what we honestly are trying to get back to when we're screaming for help, when we're screaming for freedom, when we're screaming to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, what we're asking for is to become a child again. Notice that If you tell an infant something that you want the infant to do, like eat your food, or stop screaming so loud, or stop jumping up and down on the bed. If the infant says no, then that's a reply, and that's an indication that the infant wants to keep its freedom of expression, its freedom of autonomy, because infants have that, and they know that they have that from a child. But because they have been punished by adults, by this reward system, and some may know it as domesticated, children are domesticated by a reward system. If you're good, if you do as I say, because I'm the adult, then you get a good reward. You're a good boy, you're a good girl. But if you don't do as I say, if you don't follow and assimilate into what I am telling you is right or wrong, then you're bad. That's it. That's the premise. All of us have been domesticated into a way of thinking, into a way of behaving. And based upon that, we want to keep seeking rewards and avoiding failures. We want to keep seeking rewards from others. We're trained to seek rewards from other human beings from a baby. From the moment that we come into this world, we're trained to value surviving off of receiving rewards from other human beings. And because of that, our whole way of living is to survive by assimilation, is to survive by domesticating ourselves into this society of brainwashing. Just like a dog is domesticated and trained by reward systems and treats to do all these tricks and sit and stay and roll and speak. So, going back to this abuser, or us being our own abusers, and this gets deep, so just listen closely, right? The reason why I say we are our biggest critics and we also abuse ourselves is because of this reward system. If we got punished, as a child for doing bad things, then we got a punishment. I've gotten a couple whoopings in my life. I don't know about you, but that's punishment enough. You've got punishment from others because you did something bad in others' eyes. There comes a point in our life where we get to a point where we don't need anyone else to punish us because we punish ourselves. And here are the forms that this can take. We either talk to ourselves negatively and tell ourselves that we don't deserve something that we know innately our heart wants, or we punish ourselves physically. We punish ourselves by harming our temple, our body, eating badly, eating poorly, ingesting other things that do damage to our temples. And then the last form that it comes is we go out and we seek somebody to punish us. Now, I told you this gets deep. Did you know that the level of abuse that you use with yourself is what you will allow from other people? So yes, there have been people who have treated us poorly, and that sometimes we don't choose to put ourselves in certain situations of being treated a certain way because we don't know others' intentions with how they treat us. However, what happens is we often can sense when another person is willing to harm us in a way that we allow because we feel like we deserve it. So we allow other people to talk to us a certain way. We allow other people to treat us a certain way. And we sometimes seek out these opportunities to be talked to, or to be treated, or to be physically handled in these ways because we know that for not doing it to ourselves, we go out and seek it from other people because now it's justified. Now, somebody else is doing this to me. I'm not doing it to myself. I'm the victim mentality. Now, again, I know that sometimes we don't seek these things out intentionally, but this is a very deeply constructed mindset that we have to understand in order to get ourselves out of it. And the level of abuse with which we think we deserve, and the level of abuse or criticism or whatever you want to call it, or harm that we put ourselves through, or that we're willing to put ourselves through, is the limit to what we'll accept from others. So nothing more, nothing less. If someone in your circle is harming you more than you would be willing to harm yourself, you say, nah, that person's not it, I'll cut them off. However, if someone is in your circle is loving you more than you love yourself, it's the same thing. We also reject them because we're like, no, I don't deserve that. Am I right or am I wrong? We say, nah, that person ain't. It's something about them that just don't rub me the wrong way. I'm not attracted to that person. I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? And so the level of love that we have for ourselves, we will accept for others, no more, no less. And the level of mistreatment, abuse, or criticism that we have for ourselves, we will accept from others, no more, no less. These are things that we have to be aware of in order to get ourselves out of this cycle. Do you stress a lot and you've heard about meditation as the answer, but you don't see a lot of people who, look like you doing it? Have you ever tried to meditate not knowing why you need to focus on the breath or what this even means? Or maybe you've wanted to soothe your mind and calm the body, but due to meditation being rooted in Hindu and Buddhist religions, you think that it conflicts with your spiritual beliefs. Hi, my name is Lauren Rainey, and certified meditation and yoga teacher for 3 years and a preacher's kid, so I get it. I'm the owner of Black and Meditated, and our mission is to normalize meditation and mindfulness as a healing tool for our Black community. Join me virtually on Saturday, March 16th. During that workshop, you'll discover how to quiet those negative voices in your head, how to stop stress in its tracks and rewire your brain from anxious to joyful. And number 3, how to release more emotions instead of just suppressing it, like we're used to doing. I'll show you about how meditation isn't about altering your faith, but it's about enhancing your connection to whatever your faith is. So let's make meditation the medication, because where your attention goes, energy flows. Claim your free spot now by clicking the link below and visiting freeworkshop.blackandmeditated.com. I'll see you on March 16th. Now, after we do that, we have to do that in order to notice that we are a reflection of everyone else, of everything else, of all of life. Looking at someone else is sort of like holding up a mirror to yourself. And the reason why is because we are all images of source. So you know how the sun is the source of energy for our planet, but the sun gives off rays, UV light, not UV, rays, whatever. It gives off light, and the rays of light, even though the rays are not the full of the sun, they come off of the sun. They are a product of the sun. Sun is source, and the rays are what comes from the source. So if the sun is source and the rays are what comes off, or a reflection of the source, then God is the source and we are the rays or the reflections of God, the mirrors of God. If we are all the mirrors of God and images of God, then we are all images of one another. That's why you are in me and I am in you. We are more alike than we are different. And that is why we innately see other people, the way that we're treated by other people, or the way that we're mistreated by other people, we see that as a reflection of ourselves. We already do. Because the level of which we handle ourselves, we will allow others to handle us the same way. We already see ourselves as a reflection. The thing is, are we going to work on our inner reflection so that we can attract better from the outer world? The thing that we're fearful of, and we have to dig deep into the layers of ourselves to realize this, but you're afraid of yourself. We're all afraid of ourselves in some capacity. We're either afraid of one of two things. Either you're afraid of your own power, of how powerful you actually are. You're afraid of the fact that, if you speak something, you can speak it into existence. If you speak it and believe it into your heart, that's why you might keep speaking the same thing over and over and over again. You might keep yourself in this loop by speaking negativity over your life. Oh, they're right, I can't make it in this industry. Oh, they're right, I'm gonna get fired from my job. I'm not good at my job. I'm nothing. I'm a loser. Oh, they're right, I'm not a good test taker. I'm gonna fail the test and I'm gonna have to settle for. So either you keep speaking yourself into this loop that you're currently in because we know how powerful we truly are, or we're afraid of never being powerful enough. We're afraid that we'll never be good enough. We're afraid that we'll never be cute enough, that we'll never be classy enough, that we'll never be wealthy enough. We're either afraid either or. We're afraid that we'll be too powerful, or we're afraid that we'll never be powerful enough. And both are true if we believe it. But if we know that we are images of each other and that we already treat each other as such, we know that if we work on our image, on our inner image, on our inner reflection of the way that we see ourselves, and start to look at those beliefs that we've acquired as a child, start to realize where they took root. What was the first time that you started believing that about yourself? The reason that we have low self-esteem, we have low self-love, we have low regard for ourselves, we allow other people to mistreat us, we allow ourselves to speak ourselves into the cycle still, is because there's something that you were taught after you came out the womb that isn't true. But you allowed yourself to believe it because you wanted to fit in and assimilate with how the world sees you. Because we didn't want to go outside of the box, because that meant that we won't feel safe. And yes, it is one of Maslow's hierarchy of needs or whatever to feel safe and secure and to feel like we're a part of a community. But we have to believe that it's even safer if we accept the truth, our truth that we choose to believe about ourselves, rather than assimilate to another truth that was never for us. It feels more secure. It feels more like yourself. Because all of the other things are just layered on top, and all those things are keeping us from being the most free in our mind that we can ever feel. So which one are we going to accept? Which one are we going to hold as truth? And this takes a lot of uncovering. And here's the thing. Some of these type of things take years to uncover. And that's not to discourage anybody, but that's to say, it's not a sprint through life. It's not a race through life. It's just, if you choose to pass this opportunity by, if you felt like this resonated with you, but you choose to pass this by and be like, I'm just going to sit in my comfortability, you're choosing to basically sin against yourself. All sin means is missing the mark. And it means that you are untrue to yourself. If you choose to pass this by, if you choose to sit in your comfortability, in your safety, in what feels like false security, then you'll choose a life of sin. That's what a life of sin means. It means you're choosing to ignore the truth about yourself, the reflection, the image that you hold, and not do anything about it. So, which truth are we going to choose? I know it feels a little bit insecure or not secure to go after that new truth or rebuild that new truth about yourself, or go back into those weeds of when you first started to believe certain stuff about yourself, from what you heard, from what your parents taught you, from what your pastor taught you, from what friends, family taught you. And I'm saying that it takes years because nothing good happens in an instant. No real transformation happens in one snap of a finger. You may get a premonition or a spiritual download or something in the snap of a finger, but the actual transformation is what happens over time and time again. And that's how it has to happen, or else it doesn't deeply root out the foundations of what is negative, of what doesn't serve you, of what is not good in your life. And you need those uproots to start to unlearn some of the BS that's been planted inside your consciousness to be able to be free. Because freedom is your birthright. You knew it when you were a child. You knew it. And that's why God says, have a childlike heart. It's because that's what the life, new life, a resurrected life means. It means having a childlike heart, reverting to that childlike state. You're free. You're not bound by anyone's version of right and wrong. You're bound by spirit, source's version of right or wrong, because that's who we know we are a reflection of since we were a child. So the things that we knew when we were a child, we have to revert to that. The confidence that we had, we have to revert to that. It's possible that during a meditation session, emotions can come up. Thoughts can come up of the past, of past trauma, of past negative events, of past negative things that people have said to you. It's possible for that to happen. The reason why is because meditation helps subconscious thoughts that you've pushed back into the back of your mind for safety and security of your mind and body. Meditation brings those things up to the forefront, not because it wants to harm you, or not because your body or your mind wants to harm you, but because it wants to release the things that you have suppressed, because suppression is holding those things hostage and holding them as baggage. Really, we have suppressed a lot of thoughts, but they're not gone. They're just not on our forefront of our mind. So they're still there. We just sometimes haven't processed them. And during a time when thoughts come up, when you're more calm, that's happened to me during meditation before. I've cried during a meditation before. I have gotten angry during meditation before. I have felt like I was on an emotional roller coaster during meditation before. It's happened. Mostly it's happened during my earlier stages of meditation. But I will say, don't let it scare you. It shouldn't be something that scares you. It should be something that you're willing to grow through, because this journey is about evolution. And at this point, comment down below, what are you struggling with currently? What belief or what cycle are you struggling with that you need to break free from? Because if you don't declare it with your mouth, what you're going to break free from, and if you don't speak it out into words, and if you don't speak out what you need to do to heal from that, that silence may be the thing that's holding you back, because your words are powerful. Power, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So speak it, declare it, know it for yourself, and stay true to yourself. Honor yourself, love yourself. And this is a new journey for a lot of us. So go ahead and follow it. All right. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.